Hello everyone, it is me, it is I, and today I want to give you guys a very interesting video. Throughout my life, I haven't always been lonely. Most of the times I've had a big group of friends, or if not, I've at least had a couple of people that I could consider my close friend. Unfortunately though, a lot of people don't even have that. So today, I want to share my experience of befriending people who had no friends or had a very few amount of friends. We're gonna talk about the good, the bad, and the really, really good. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first time something like this happened was in 4th grade. We had just had a new kid transfer from a different school, and well, it wasn't great. To begin with, the class was already separated into its own different friend groups. Everybody knew everybody, and he didn't really fall into any of those friend groups. Not necessarily because he was a bad kid, he was just different than everybody else. And I personally felt pretty bad for him. I wasn't like his super close friend or anything, but for the first 2 years, I tried to be as nice as I could be to him. I saw that he didn't really have very many friends, and so if I could give out a helping hand to him, I would. But I never really got close to him. Over the years, however, I got to discover that he lived in the same neighborhood as me, and after telling this to my dad, he called up his mom. They met each other and became friends too, and we started traveling to school together throughout the entirety of 6th and 7th grade. And I got to know him and became a very close friend of his throughout that time period. If you're watching this, Alex, you're a great guy. And that that was the best case of a quiet, shy kid that nobody really talked to, nobody else really knew, becoming my closest friend. However, when I tried to replicate this in my current high school, I was met with somebody who, well, let's just say wasn't so pleasant. The current kid that I tried this with is genuinely just stupid and an unlikable person, and I completely understand why he doesn't have very many friends. To start off, he doesn't really have a personality. He is completely absorbed by short form content, and if you don't talk about something that is either video game related or social media related, he will straight up not get it. And if he does, it's genuinely kind of sad to listen to. To give you guys an example, well, his build isn't great. He knows that he is built pretty unfortunately, and to give you guys, an idea of what I'm talking about, he's pretty fat. He has glasses, pimply ass face, not short, but not really tall either. And he doesn't really dress any certain type of way. Again, having no personality means that you don't really like anything in particular. So he kind of just puts on whatever the fuck. Um, so yeah, that's the. He owns one of those fucking Timu ramen noodle onesies. I guess that's kind of funny. And so this is an example of where getting to know and getting to befriend somebody who's shy, awkward, and doesn't have very many friends turned out poorly. Sometimes there is actually a reason why these people are lonely and don't have very many friends. In his example, he doesn't really have anything to offer. There are no opinions to share, and if he does share an opinion, it's usually pretty grim. Uh, he's basically kind of like a walking Instagram Reels feed. That's the best way I can describe him. Overall, he's just somebody that is unwilling to change, in an unfortunate position, knows he's in an unfortunate position. I guess it's nice that he's conscious and self aware, but that doesn't really do much when you don't really help yourself in any way to get out of that position or do anything to befriend other people and be likable. When I, told him, hey man, I don't want to watch your stupid ass Instagram reels, it's really hard for him to understand, and he kind of just keeps pushing the phone in my face, which is really fucking irritating. And I don't like it. And I've told him I don't like it, and he doesn't fucking listen. So, there is literally nothing I can do apart from distance myself from him now. I don't like him too much, to be honest. And another reason for that is because he never listened to any advice that I gave him, or matter of fact, anybody else did. This year, he decided to confess his crush to a girl from my class, right? He had told me about his crush on this chick the year before, and I was pretty much the only person that knew about it. I held his secret to myself. I didn't spill his business to anybody else. But, I told him, listen, man, I told him the truth. This girl is out of your league, and if you try and get into a relationship with her, it will not end well. It's better that you don't do that shit to yourself and instead go for somebody that is more in your league and more like you. Because another thing, they were very much different in their personalities and in what they liked. So it was never really gonna work out in the first place. And it didn't. She made fun of him and rejected him. Exactly what I told him was going to happen and not to do. So I guess for this type of person, you can't really feel bad. They have brought themselves to this position. It wasn't like with the first example I gave, the guy was just very, self conscious and had anxiety, so he didn't want to broadcast himself to people. And that resulted in the worst type of people taking advantage and bullying him while nobody watched. Which I feel really bad for. He did not deserve it. He's genuinely just a great guy who is pretty antisocial and has a difficult time approaching not only, potential friends but partners. However, I am done spilling his business on the internet without his knowledge. So, I am going to just wrap up this video now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Moral of the story, give these people a shot. They're very much interesting. Some of them are likable, some of them are not. But it never hurts to give them a shot. Thank you guys for watching again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.